Welcome to Destiny 2 University. Today I'm covering a topic I get asked a lot about, soloing Master Lost Sectors. Being able to solo a Master Lost Sector not only allows you to obtain exotics that you can earn exclusively from these sources, but will also earn you the Solo Lost Sector Mastery Triumph for the Splintered title if you do this on Europa. Before I dive into loadout discussion, it turns out there's a subset of players who mostly play solo, and so have had little to no exposure to champions. For their benefit, I'm going to quickly go over champion mechanics and how to defeat them. If you're already comfortable with combating champions, you can skip to the time shown on screen. Class is now in session. First off, you'll need specific armor mods from the seasonal artifact in order to defeat champions. Be sure you have at least one anti-champion mod of each type: Unstoppable, Overload, and Anti-Barrier. Champion mods that work with special or heavy weapons cost more energy, but allow for more flexible loadouts. Unstoppable champions are usually the least annoying to deal with because they won't regenerate health like the others, but they also won't be staggered by damage like normal enemies and will rush you head on, often compromising your position if not outright killing you. Unstoppable rounds on most weapons are activated by aiming down sights for a couple of seconds. You can tell the unstoppable round is ready by a glow on your weapon, as well as a buff indicator on the left side of your screen. The Season of the Splicer Unstoppable Grenade Launcher mod is active for a brief time after switching to a grenade launcher. All champions take extra damage while stunned by the appropriate modified weapon damage, but cannot be stunned again for several seconds afterward. On Unstoppable and Overload champions, this is indicated by a whitish aura or halo-like effect. Barrier champions will put up an invulnerable shield once they've taken a certain amount of damage, making them immune to all damage and rapidly regenerating health. This health regeneration is paused if their barrier takes any damage from an anti-barrier weapon, and breaking the barrier will stun them. Keep in mind that they will quickly put the barrier back up a few seconds after recovering, so be ready with your anti-barrier rounds if you haven't finished them off. Anti-barrier rounds are always active. Barrier servitors can be especially dangerous, as they will make enemies within range invulnerable, but you can deal with this by doing just enough damage to the servitor to trigger its barrier, and then stunning it by breaking the barrier. While the servitor is stunned, it will no longer provide immunity to nearby enemies, giving you a chance to clean up other threats before focusing down the champion. Note that barrier weapons will also penetrate other forms of damage-immune shielding, such as Cabal and Taken Phalanx shields, Hive Knight walls, and Taken Vandal bubbles. Overload champions are often the most difficult to deal with, as they tend to teleport around while not disrupted by overload rounds, repositioning to either give them a chance to regenerate or to a more advantageous position to kill you. Overload rounds are activated by landing hits with your weapon, but these hits don't need to all be on the champion. You can take down a basic enemy and then turn your fire on an overload champion just as effectively as focusing your fire on the champion in the first place. Explosive or timed payload perks are highly recommended for weapons used to disrupt overload champions, as the additional hits of damage count towards activating your overload rounds, allowing for a quicker disruption. It's important to note that even when an overload champion is in its state of protection from being stunned again, your overload rounds will still prevent it from regenerating, so be sure to keep putting damage on it until you're able to disrupt it again and finish it off. The following footage is from my live stream, so the information within is somewhat stream of consciousness, and I've sped up a bunch of the footage in order to try to move things along as much as possible. Keep in mind that I will be uploading a video of both Hunter and Titan runs of different lost sectors, so if you main Hunter or Titan, keep an eye out for those videos in the coming days. So I'm using Top Tree Voidwalker here. We are combining Chaos Accelerant, which allows us to overcharge our grenades, with a Vortex Grenade for champion damage. This combined with Controverse Hold and these bomber mods on the Solar Bond are going to give us a lot of uptime on our grenade. We're going to use it for pretty much every champion kill and probably a lot of mob kills along the way. Chaos Reach is also a really good option for Warlocks. It's super helpful for bursting down champions, Just be a little bit careful with it on the boss as you're moving either very slowly or not at all while it's channeling, and that can cause you to get torn down pretty quickly. Sitting still is generally not a good idea. Stasis is good on all classes. The ability to freeze and slow enemies, just crowd control in general, makes difficult content much safer. We're using Overload Hand Cannon, Anti-Barrier Scout. I'm using Hung Jury for my Scout to break barriers. Bottom dollar Hand Cannon with Explosive Payload to overload champions. Explosive Payload makes it a lot easier because it counts as additional hits. I'm specifically not using any exotic weapons here because people tend to have gaps in their arsenal, and I don't want to be running like Anarchy, for example, just to have people not be able to do that. I am also not using the very powerful Breach and Clear mod in the artifact here, which I would normally be using, because in a few weeks that's going to be gone, and you won't be able to use it. As for armor mods, in this case I'm using Grenade Launcher Ammo Finder for my interference, as well as Grenade Launcher Scavenger. If you were running, say, Xenophage and a sniper rifle, you could run a Sniper Ammo Finder and Scavenger, as well as a Machine Gun Finder and Scavenger. I use Charged with Light to provide me this Protective Light bonus, which saves my life probably more times than I could count. And I'm becoming Charged with Light through Shield Break Charge here, and Taking Charge here. Shield Break Charge gives us a charge of light whenever we break an elemental shield, or whenever we break a barrier. Taking Charge gives us a charge of light whenever you pick up an Orb of Power. I'm also running Radiant Light and Powerful Friends. They are not going to be charging us with light because they only affect charges of light when you're in a fire team. I'm running these specifically because they activate the bonuses on each other to give us a plus 20 mobility here and a plus 20 strength here. It's just a nice stat pad to help you out. In the chest armor, I also run Sniper Damage Resistance and Concussive Dampener. You could swap one of these out for an energy-specific protection if your chest piece matches a damage type that you're going to be taking in the Lost Sector. Now, the attrition modifier shown here means that you do not properly regenerate shields like you normally would. You can only regenerate shields either by healing or by picking up wells of light that'll drop. You'll see more when I get in here. The ++ Void Damage modifier, or Void Burn, encourages you to use Void Damage, which is another reason we're using a Void subclass here. I also have major spec mods on all of my weapons to assist in killing these yellow bar enemies like that servitor, as well as the champions, which all count as majors. It's important when running these masked sectors to try to keep as much of yourself hidden as possible. Make yourself a more difficult target. There's one of those wells of light I mentioned. Broken that barrier. Now we've we've got a few second window where we can finish him off. I'm trying to leave these wells of light up in case I need them. I'm going to do as much as I can with the shields that I have, but if I take too many more hits, I've got a fallback there. They don't last forever though, as you can see those are already gone. I think I picked it up when I backed up. Try to keep moving around these guys, it makes it harder for them to hit you. I had to reload there, so I'm just going to keep this damage on him. Even if he has this indicator on him that shows that he can't be overloaded again, you still want to keep the overload damage on him, as it still prevents his health from regenerating. It's okay to just overload a champion if you need time to clear ads. Just because you've broken a barrier or disrupted an overload doesn't necessarily mean you need to lay into it and try to kill it right away. You can use it just to buy yourself time to deal with the ads that might kill you while you're trying to finish it off otherwise. Let's take this guy out now. Can't very well move up and have him on the roof behind us. Oh, okay. Gotta get out now. It's been made invulnerable by the barrier champion. So we're gonna have to take that servitor down. Should be most of the ads. Now we can deal with this guy again. Nope, he's got some friends. Not going to use my Nova Bomb on him. Just going to have to cheese him. So even though he's got that white aura effect on him, that means he can't be overloaded, I'm just going to keep shooting him with the hand cannon so that he doesn't heal while he's unoverloadable. Now for the fun part. can't get enough damage on them without being killed because they're all three of them constantly shooting. So, if this is the situation you end up in, the best thing you can do is just chip away at the boss as much as you can. Ignore the champions if they're all stacked up like that. You're not going to be able to kill them all. It's just going to waste your time. You'll run out of revives. So now, we just chip away at the boss. I'll have my super up again fairly soon. Using my rift to heal here, because I can't heal otherwise. You can't put damage on this guy without taking damage, basically. Done it. Now you don't actually need to kill everything in the Lost Sector in order to officially beat it and claim your reward. You just need to kill the boss and open the chest. And that's it. Still got a couple of minutes to spare. At 15 minutes, you can no longer revive, so the quicker you can get through this, the better.